Hi, my name is Andy Dean, and I had gastric bypass surgery in October of 2023. I was asked to share my story with you all. So here we go. My insurance does cover weight loss surgery. They don't cover anything else weight loss related at all. Like none of the medications that are approved for weight loss, they don't cover any of that, but they cover the surgery. So I was very blessed with that. My insurance required 6 months of preliminary appointments with my primary care doctor. So I started that in February of 2023. So I wrapped those up in July. I really didn't focus too much on losing a certain amount during the pre-op part. I ended up losing from my highest to surgery day. I went from 360 pounds to 327 pounds before surgery. A chunk of that was not eating out, fast food, and not consuming a lot of calories by drinks. I was caffeineaholic. I had to stop caffeine pre-surgery because caffeine is an irritant to your stomach, so they make you not have caffeine after surgery, and I knew that in advance, and I knew that I was a caffeineaholic. So cutting back on those and tracking my food. I use my MyFitnessPal app and watching what I was putting in my mouth. It's amazing, the mental part that comes along with this journey, and I'll probably talk about that a little bit later on. But I got to the week before my surgery, I did a 2-week liquid diet. In addition to what my insurance required, the program that I went through, which is at Wesley Woodlawn in Wichita, had their own set of check marks. I had to do all the things. That included meeting one-on-one with their dietitian. That included a mental health exam. There was a number of things that I had to do in advance of getting approved for surgery for them and for my insurance. Got to the week before surgery, actually days before surgery, that Thursday night. My surgery was scheduled for Monday, October 9th. That Thursday night, I woke up in the middle of the night with sharp stabbing abdominal pains, and I was worried that it was my gallbladder because often, or I guess I shouldn't say often, I think the statistic is actually 1 in 5 now, people who have rapid weight loss that their gallbladder says uncle. I was one of those. I actually knew I had gallstones before because I'd had my appendix taken out in 2020 and they had seen gallstones then. Anyhow, I ended up in the emergency room the Friday before my Monday surgery and confirmed that yes, my gallbladder was saying I'm done. The surgeon's office said they would just take it out when they did my gastric bypass surgery. So I had the RNY gastric bypass surgery. A lot more common for most people is to do the sleeve VSG instead of the RNY. The sleeve surgery was not going to be my choice at all. Like I knew I wanted to do the bypass, partially because I had dealt with heartburn throughout my life. And if you deal with heartburn, you do not want to do the sleeve because more than likely you'll have to go back and do a revision surgery to the bypass. Sleeve tends to make acid reflux even worse, and I did not want to do two surgeries. I wanted to get this done. So I went and had my surgery October 9th. They also took out my gallbladder at the same time. I went in surgery Monday morning. I got to go home on Tuesday afternoon. I was in NPO for the first day until they did a swallow study. After the swallow study, and they confirmed that there was no leaks, which they do leak testing during surgery, but we did a follow-up one after that. Then I was able to start clear liquids. And you're on clear liquid. I was on clear liquids for 3 days, and then full liquids. Then I think it was up to a week after. I went home on the Tuesday afternoon. All was really going pretty well. But then I started having diarrhea. I contacted my program coordinator. She was like, this is pretty normal. So I didn't really worry about it. Kept on, keep it on. My stomach after the gastric bypass surgery is now a pouch, is what we call it. We obey the pouch. It holds 4 ounces, so a half a cup. So I have to, I will always eat smaller portions, but I'm also eating healthier foods, and I'll talk about that. I got to the Sunday night. This was 6 days after surgery, and I was having severe hip and lower back pain. I was unable to ambulate at all. So Monday morning, my husband took me back to the emergency room at Wesley Woodlawn again. They did a CT, they did a HIDA scan just to check. Even though they had taken out my gallbladder, they wanted to make sure everything was okay. I was admitted to the hospital because I had some of my nutrients that were out of whack. Number one, I was still in liquid, but number two, I was losing a lot with this diarrhea that had been pretty much constant since I'd been home. So a week of diarrhea, but I was told not to worry about it. They did do a stool sample on me on that Monday when they readmitted me to the hospital. However, it was not until Wednesday that I found out that I had tested positive for C. diff. So that was an adventure. When I'd gone to the ER on the Friday before my surgery, and they'd found that my gallbladder was not functioning anymore, and they knew they were going to take it out with my surgery, I had been started on antibiotics. So I started on antibiotics on Friday, went through the weekend, and then I know they gave me antibiotics during surgery, but that was really the extent of my antibiotics. But now I have C. diff. With having a lot of nurse friends, I knew this was not a great diagnosis, but there was really no extended antibiotic use. I had been on it for 3 days and then had surgery. So how I ended up with it, I don't really know, but it was what it was. So I was given 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, of a lot of nutrients back via intravenously to get my body back up. And it was slow going because I was losing a lot through my stools. So after you have gastric bypass surgery, you cannot just swallow pills instantly. You have to do liquid. So that was an adventure to get the medication I needed to get me over the C. diff. They found a compounding pharmacy that can make it into liquid form. After the C. diff finally started clearing up, thank goodness, I started doing better. I then gradually worked into blended and pureed foods, and then into soft foods, and then finally into regular foods. Like I said, I have my pouch can hold 4 ounces. So I'm not allowed to drink anything 30 minutes before, during, or 30 minutes after eating. That does require alarms on my phone and a constant check of when am I going to eat? When am I going to drink? Because you need to get enough fluid. So I need to get at least 64 ounces of fluids in, but I also need to get my protein in. And I'm now at the point 3 months post-op that I'm getting roughly 700, 800 calories on a typical day, which is not very much, but I am focused on protein. I use macros of 50% protein, 30% carbs, and 20% fat. I track every single thing that goes into my body on the MyFitnessPal app. I am working towards getting up to around 1,000 calories a day. That's where I would like to be, where they would like me to be, being 3 months post-op until I get to my goal weight. Speaking of goal weight, my heaviest was 360 pounds. I had surgery at 327 pounds, so I'd lost 33 pounds before surgery. As of now, I am down 96 pounds total. So I am 264 pounds as of today, which is 3.5 months post-op. My surgeon is very happy with where I'm at weight-wise. My goal weight he had given me initially was 201. I told him I wanted to get to Wonderland, meaning that first number on the scale was going to be a 1, and I didn't care if it was 199. Like, I just wanted to get to Wonderland. So all in all, I should be close to goal weight by a year. Typically, it's a year to 18 months post surgery when you get to goal weight. My weight loss has definitely slowed down within the last couple of weeks. I was losing around 4 pounds a week, and now I'm losing 1 or 2 pounds a week. I have started exercise. I was never an exercise person at all. Like, I despised exercising. I am actively, intentionally moving my body now. That was something I could never do pre-op. Like, it just was not my thing. And I struggled with it, and I still struggle with it, but I am so driven now. Like, I'm doing this. I'm getting my steps in. So I'm exercising daily. I am eating good nutrition. My 3-month labs were just wonderful. I was zero point 0.1 away from prediabetes with my A1C in July. And now I went from 5.6 to 4.8 on my A1C. My cholesterol numbers went down. Everything went down. For me, the goal of this surgery was not to like look super hot or, be able to wear a bikini or any of that. No, my why for doing surgery was the fact that I have a 9-year-old daughter. I was 35 when I had her, and I knew that if I was going to be alive and be able to see her get married and get down on the floor and play with my grandbabies, that I had to get weight off. Like, it had to happen. I watched my father pass away from congestive heart failure, and he had all the comorbidities of diabetes and high blood pressure and high cholesterol and all of that. And I did not want to have that fate, and that was what was coming my way. And I had tried other things. I tried keto. I tried all of the fad things that happened, and I knew that I needed the gold standard. I needed the help that gastric bypass, the metabolic reset that was going to come with gastric bypass. And I got it. It worked. I am almost 100 pounds down, and that's amazing. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to share my journey with you thus far. Like I said, if you would like to follow me on Facebook, you can do so. I'm not making any money off of it. I'm just trying to be transparent about this process. I knew that this was going to be a journey. The mental part of this journey is so much more than the tiny amount of food that I ingest now. I have not experienced physical hunger post-surgery. Often it comes back, but for me, it has not yet. So when I have hunger, it's more mental hunger. My brain thinks that I need something. It's not actual physical hunger. So I am eating a lot of things that have protein. That is protein shakes, Greek yogurt, hard-boiled egg whites. I do eat some of the mass-produced protein things like protein bars and Quest chips. Not as often. My pouch does not love them. I eat cottage cheese. Lots of cottage cheese on a regular basis, 1% fat cottage cheese. And I know that cottage cheese is kind of all the rage right now, but it's true. It's been a wonderful addition to my life. But now that I'm 3 months post-op, I am eating more regular foods. I am eating often things that I can go to a restaurant and I can get something that works for me in my pouch. But I'm going to tell you that the instant I order it, I'm getting a to-go box because I'm not going to be able to eat it because restaurants bring you this huge plate of food and my pouch can only hold a half a cup of food. So I think that the mental part is definitely a huge piece to this. And the one mental evaluation that you do, which mainly focused on the one I did on binge eating, making sure that if I was a binge eater, the reason behind my binge eating, and the kind of having a physical support system, also that I was not addicted to other things. Transfer addiction is very common in someone who has had bariatric surgery. Transfer addiction meaning that you coated your emotions with food and then if you were to delve into something else to get that dopamine hit that food used to give you, it's very often becomes an addiction of some other type. Alcohol is a very common one, which is why they tell you to avoid alcohol after bariatric surgery, because you can become addicted very easily. So I don't have any carbonation at all. I don't drink carbonation. I drink flavored water and my protein shakes, vitamin water that's 0 sugar. So I can't have any sugars after gastric bypass surgery. And I can't have anything high fat. That is because of something called dumping syndrome. I was actually given dumping syndrome unintentionally by the hospital when I was readmitted, when they had given me a Ensure Clear protein shake, because I had been given permission to finally have something by mouth and have a protein shake. And they gave me an Ensure Clear, and there was like 30 grams of sugar in it. And they did this unknowingly. I really believe they didn't do this intentionally, but I did experience dumping syndrome during my readmission. And it was bad. It was like the world's worst anxiety attack, in addition to diarrhea, which I was already having diarrhea, but this was like a different kind of diarrhea. It was rough, and I never want to experience dumping syndrome again. So I avoid sugars and avoid fats for the rest of my life. I just recently started drinking out of a straw. That's a very common thing that you cannot have after surgery, but I did. My surgeon allowed it at 3 months. I am avoiding caffeine. Some surgeon's office will let you have it after 6 months. I don't think I'm going to go back to it. I've been clear of the caffeine long enough now. I don't think I need it back. There are a number of rules and things that come along with it, but I am absolutely thankful that I did this process and that I went through it. It is not for the weak. It is definitely an exhausting and trying process, but it is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I am very thankful that I have had this opportunity. I am hopeful that I can get to my goal by the fall. And I'm looking forward to all of the rest of life that has to offer now that I'm in control of things that I always felt so out of control over. I hope this helps. Thank you for listening.